Hello, my name is Jeremiah Waldeck, and this is my second persuasive speech. On July 19, 2016, 4 policemen were looking for a suspect that had just committed a drive-by shooting. The suspect was armed with a handgun and was fleeing on foot through a neighborhood filled with children. One officer located the suspect, who fired 2 shots, striking the officer in the head, killing him as he got out of his patrol car. The remaining 3 officers took the suspect into custody and attended to the dying policeman as they rendered aid and screamed for EMS. Based on this experience, these 3 officers are likely to suffer symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. However, because they were not physically injured on July 19, 2016, the state of Kansas, under KSA 44-501, workers' compensation, does not cover their mental health issues relating from this event. As the statute is currently written, only physical injury is covered. State legislators should amend KSA 44-501 to include coverage for post-traumatic stress disorder for first responders. This change will ensure comprehensive mental health treatment for our first responders suffering from trauma they're exposed to in the line of duty. In the next several minutes, I'll explain what PTSD is, how it affects law enforcement, the problems created by lack of proper mental health treatment for first responders, and finally, a solution to the issue. It is my hope that you will understand the plight of our first responders and take the call to action so that we may have happy and healthy community servants. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH, post-traumatic stress disorder is a disorder that develops in some people who have experienced a shocking, scary, or dangerous event. The NIMH lists several risk factors that increase the chances of individuals exposed to trauma to develop PTSD. Some factors that increase the risk for PTSD include living through dangerous events and traumas, getting hurt, seeing another person hurt, or seeing a dead body, childhood trauma, feeling horror, helplessness, or extreme fear, having little or no social support after the event, dealing with the extra stress after the event, such as loss of a loved one, pain and injury, or loss of a job or home, and having a history of mental illness or substance abuse. 4 of the 8 listed risk factors are common occurrences among first responders, including living through dangerous events, seeing another person hurt or seeing a dead body, extreme fear, and dealing with extra stress after an event. This significant indicator of the occurrences of PTSD among first responders and this mental injury is not covered by Kansas workers' compensation. State statute KSA 44-501 reads, compensation, disallowances, substance abuse testing, exceptions, pre-existing conditions, Public Service Benefits Protection Act, coronary disease or cerebrovascular injury benefits for firefighters and law enforcement officers. Limited liability limited for construction design professionals, benefits reduced for certain retirement benefits. A1, compensation for an injury shall be disallowed if such injury to the employee results from intentionally self-inflicted or due to drug or alcohol usage. Under KSA 44-501, injury is only recognized as a physical injury. However, mental health assistance can be given upon approval if a physical injury has already created a workers' compensation claim. In 2016, Kansas Police Department detective was killed in the line of duty during the drug-ravaged crime spree of a convicted felon. According to Tom Rizzo of the KC Star, during this incident, 2 other officers were involved in addition to the detective that was killed. One officer sustained a broken hand during the battle to save the detective. Another officer was also engaged in the battle, however, he was not injured. Under the current statute, The officer that sustained the physical injury qualified for mental health treatment. However, the other officer, who was subjected to the same level of trauma, fear, horrific injury of another person, and extra stress, 4 of the 8 previously mentioned PTSD risk factors, was not covered for mental health assistance because he was not injured. The current law does not provide adequate coverage for first responders. According to Dr. Violante, in a study published by the U.S. DOJ COPS Office, the potential long-term effects of PTSD in police officers may additionally lead to behavioral dysfunction such as substance abuse, aggression, and suicide. It is estimated that, on average, approximately 15% of officers in the U.S. experience PTSD symptoms. This number, compared to 7 or 8% of the general population who suffer from PTSD, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, is another indicator of the significant need for first responders to have access to mental health treatment. Should the Kansas legislators hear our call to action, the result will be healthier, more productive, and resilient first responders. According to Dr. Violante, disruptions in rapid decision-making by an officer who has PTSD may affect brain systems due to heightened arousal to threats, inability to screen out interfering information, or the inability to keep attention. Treatment to avoid this is essential to maintain first responders' professional abilities. In 2018, Florida recognized PTSD as a covered injury under their workers' compensation benefits. The Orlando Sentinel reported first responders who have witnessed the death of a minor or witnessed a death that involved grievous bodily harm of a nature that shocks the conscience could file workers' compensation claims for lost wages. The first responders would be required to show by clear and convincing evidence that the events were the source of the PTSD. The Kansas legislature should do the same and change the law for the coverage to include mental injury as an exception for first responders. Today, my call for action is for you to contact your state representative and congressman and encourage them to recognize mental injury as a covered benefit under KSA 44-501. Please visit kansaslegislator.org to find the legislator for your area. Please call them and ask them to consider this so that we may have the best first responders possible. Thank you.